Right, we'll try again. Photo booth just quit unexpectedly. It was unexpected as well. I thought I'd taken a picture by mistake. Um, right, just before I dive into this, some of you who follow my channel will know that I was supposed to be in court last Friday, the 20th. A case which was postponed. So that's 1 week. So I'll do an update next week. We'll see if this case ever comes back up again, or whether it's been consigned to the mystery of the disappearing court cases. Probably by the same people who put the media blackout on the council story. That's going to be very interesting. So here we have the long-awaited reply to my appeal against D.S. Cook being declared innocent of all charges. You can probably guess the outcome. I've actually lost one of my sheets now. God, where have I gone and put that now? No, that's not it. Right. There we go. Right. So there's so much I can get into this, and actually so much. If you're confused by any of this, there's a trio of videos starting with who decided what now, which goes through the three videos go through the original clearing of DS Cook. And you know you've got the right one when I'm open it on camera and say I know he's been cleared already. So they've answered my email, which I made several points. There was another email I made a couple of points on which they haven't bothered answering, and I do need to find that actually. But I can make that a separate video. So point one, I asked what I do in my spare time, be it online or otherwise, has nothing to do with the police, and I consider the report to be a personal attack. Stop sitting around watching my YouTube videos, etc., and so forth. The report apparently provides context to the various methods of communication that I utilise, some of which are considered vexatious, sarcastic, or hostile. There's three words we hear quite a lot. While I acknowledge you have the ability to make your feelings known to your audience, these are your opinions and remain your opinion in the absence of evidential value. Which means they can't be bothered looking for the 30 years worth of missing money that's forming a big black hole in HDC's accounts. Because that's not evidence of anything. 30 years of missing money. Scooby-Doo. Point two, and this is where it gets interesting because I've had to look back through the letter to sort of clarify all this. Either the CPS or Ian Sims decided not to go ahead with the case against me. It cannot be both simultaneously. So I suggest you make your mind up. What they've said is the evidence was submitted to the CPS who determined there was not a realistic prospect of conviction, given that Mr. Sims had withdrawn any personal impact statement, which in the absence of the prosecution became unsafe and not ethical, thus determining the NFA decision. Therefore, in relation to your assertion that both facts cannot be true, they are in fact simultaneous of each other and both true. Now, this is what they said. Advice was sought from the CPS as to whether Mr. Dacre should be summoned to court for harassment, but prior to which I was actually, by the way, prior to any decision from that body, Mr. Sims declared he did not wish to take the matter to court as a personal victim. Right? It then later says, as has been stated, the harassment matter was submitted to the Crown Prosecution Service, who decided not to prosecute, after which the complaint against police was passed to Investigating Officer Mick Gilbert, who's part of professional standards. But here it says, Ian Sims emailed me during the period, this is Detective Sergeant Cook, where we were compiling evidence. He said in the email that albeit he had made a statement, he was not personally concerned by Paul Dacres. So why he made a statement, I've no idea. I mean, none of it really makes sense, does it? Which undermined the case and may try to prosecute him under harassment law unsafe and not ethical. So why was the file passed to the CPS, DS Cook? If Mr. Sims had already withdrawn. Do you know what? I had to look up the dictionary in this because for a minute I thought simultaneous meant one after the other reading this. But it doesn't. It means at the same time, which clearly, from what I've just read from that letter, is not the case at all. So there we have it. Cambridge Police are redefining words in the Oxford English Dictionary to cover up their corruption. Point 3. I can't remember if the report said I was anti-establishment or not, but they're saying it didn't. I can't really. I mean, that's not really too bothered with that. Point 4. Bit irrelevant. I'm trying not to do this for too long because I just want to get the main points across. Point 5. Yes, because apparently all the council staff feared violence from me, which is why, given that DS Cook now knows, obviously, that they're stealing money and there's a 30-year black hole on the account, he collaborated with the council, thereby facilitating theft in the public purse. And what was their answer to that? It's a strategy meeting now, yes. Again, they reiterate that Mr. Sims was not personally concerned. I hope this adds some clarity for you in relation to the information provided. Well, no, not really, mate. You haven't answered that question at all. Again, you're not really making much sense, are you? Point 6. Oh, it was about colluding with the council lawyer. How did they answer that? I can see no evidence of collusion as per your suggestion at this point. The licences that you refer to are not mentioned throughout the report. Well, what's that got to do with it? You know they don't have the right to charge for a trading licence, so you're colluding with people who are committing theft from the public purse. You're in fact facilitating theft from the public purse. You're in fact supporting theft from the public purse, mate. Point 7. I put DC Cook, that's an unusual mistake. DS Cook says, I clearly did not understand or listen to the process of the caution. However, in his answer, in the answer here, I'm satisfied the attending officers adequately explained the purpose of the visit. I mean, you just stated you did not understand. Oh, so they knew I'd said I didn't understand, but they glossed over that last time. DC Hurley provided additional information in order to assist you. Well, that's not much good, is it? I said no. At no point did I say yes. It was your later interpretation presented via social media that led the officer to question your full understanding of the message that was delivered. But you were still going to go ahead with the prosecution even though you knew I didn't understand what had happened. Right. Okay. Good. Point 8. I've put that I'd not seen body cam footage. Well, I can apparently make a subject access request for this. Right, I've mentioned this before, guys. To make a subject access request, you have to fill in the form, pay £10, and then guess who approves it? The Chief Constable. So we'll just assume that the body cam footage doesn't exist. But apparently DC Bowen's lanyard, that was one of the coppers that came around, is visible in corroboration of the account he provided the investigator. So there you go. On the imaginary body cam footage, his ID is visible. Had you requested visual evidence, this is they're trying to say I should have asked for the ID, when CID officers are supposed to actually present it on to introduce themselves. I have no reason to suspect that it would have not been provided. Possibly it's because your officers are liars, mate. I can't say much more about that. Point 10. Well, I've just asked again at point 10 about who decided what now, which was in the original video. That was covered in point 2, he says. When he and Sims said he'd withdrawn his statement, but they still forwarded it to the CPS. Right. Oh dear. Further within the conclusion, you say, in this case, Mr. Dacres was not charged or summoned, this being despite the fact I have clear evidence I was summoned. Without the victim statement, this is their answer, this matter could not proceed as advised at point 2 above. But they told me I was still going to court. As I say, the appeal is not upheld. I can't remember the guy's name. Right. This one's for you, Chief Inspector Mark Canning. The biggest piece of scuzzball, liar. Making it. This is very creative literature. I mean, some of these people should be writers. Honestly, I shall find that other email, and which I listed 2 further points on, which have not been addressed in this at all, that I can see. And I shall do another video about them. And I'll maybe try and get a bit more of the contradictions of that original letter in as well, because I've seen a few things there today which I've missed. Right. So we got another bank copper on the list, Chief Inspector Mark Canning. And I hope you all enjoyed this one, and I shall see you later on.